Good evening and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojo Maria Ensaroma. And October is the second and final Earth month in this water year that has opened a new age in human evolution with mind-blowing challenges and changes. As foretold, our former ways of having, doing, and thinking are simultaneously collapsing at breakneck speed, pushing all of us into overwhelming fear for the future. We must not stay down there. We can learn to cooperate and collaborate in the present to build a loving future. Tonight I provide, again, my homegrown alchemy for transforming trouble, and tonight I'll be talking about transforming drifting into seeking. But now I invite you to sit or lay back and join me for an exploration of the inner landscape where we can connect to our soul and discuss the true treasure of being human. Well, folks, what a week we had this week. And again, we're still doing this building up of muscles into this new age. And so there were lots of glorious things that happened and also some tragic things. We did have Pluto going direct, astrologically, astronomically, cosmically, and it had been retrograde for the past 5 months. And so that really brought a very powerful energy for us to begin now to open up to what is birthing in our lives at this time, what is emerging, what is showing up as a result of all the good work that we've been doing on ourselves over the past 5 months. So that Pluto going direct will continue, but boy, did it bring some powerful energy. I was just like buzzing electrically. I think I blew out, no, I'm pretty sure, I blew out my SIM card on my phone. So my communication was really hindered. We are in Mercury retrograde, and then it just magically came back the next day. But I know I was really having a lot of energy flowing through me on Wednesday. But before I dive into more of what I want to share with you tonight, as always, I want to start off honoring the ancestors. Yes, the persons whose shoulders we're standing upon, those for whom we wouldn't be here if they hadn't chosen to experience this earth plane. So join me, if you will, as I open up to invoke and thank all of our ancestors for being around to help us navigate through these unprecedented times in human evolution. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is, we thank you. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you for your blessing and your mercy in our lives and for yet another opportunity to open up to your greater will. And Creator, knowing that we cannot be here on this earth plane without the help of our non-physical guides and teachers, I am asking you for the support to call out to the great emissaries that you have called the ancestors. Ancestors, 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 we are all calling out to you because we need your help, your guidance, your wisdom to help us navigate through these unprecedented times. The change is so challenging, it's so quick, it's so radical that we feel so overwhelmed every day, every morning, noon, and night. And so help us get through this onto the other side of the new growth that we are becoming. Help us understand, bring us clarity for why it is that we need to hang in there and hold on to our hope. Why it is that we have been chosen to go through this time so that we stop being in resistance to it, we stop trying to get ourselves out of it, but to really know that we are here for a higher purpose. And so help us, and thank you. And Creator, again, I want to thank you for all that you are and all that you do in our lives. For myself, I speak the name of the Yeshua, the Jesus Christ, and the Mary Magdalene, in honor of divine feminine and sacred masculine, so conjoined on the earth plane at this time And I say, Amen. Ashe Aho Asa Ashiga Bismillah. So it is. Okay. What I want to focus on for you and with you for the rest of the night is, again, back to this alchemy for transforming troubles. So here's my overview. I'm going to talk again about my meaning. It's a spiritual meaning of the alchemy for transforming trouble. Then I'm going to talk about transforming drifting into seeking, why that's important. And of course, I'm going to give you a PGO, a personal growth opportunity that you can do. My quotes for the night come from two very disparate people, never got to meet each other. But very interesting that both of these two quotes came up. So the first one is from a woman named Lolly Daskal, and she is a leadership coach. She's been working with executives and really helping them learn what real leadership is about. She's also an author. And her quote is, "Learn to trust the journey even when you do not understand it." Woo! Sound like a sister to me. Wow, she gets it. She gets it. That is so powerful. And then the second quote comes from, the greatest, Muhammad Ali. And old Muhammad said, "I set out on a journey of love, seeking truth, peace, and understanding. I am still learning." Ashe, ashe. So the meaning of alchemy for transforming trouble. I see alchemy as a spiritual technology. It's changing the frequency of thought, altering the harmonics of matter, and applying the energy of love to create a desired result. Isn't that just beautiful? Love that. Yeah. So alchemy in general is defined as a process of taking something ordinary and turning it into something extraordinary, sometimes in a way that cannot be explained. And for example, you can see and consider somebody an alchemist like an artist who takes a pile of scrap metal and turns it into a beautiful piece of art. Yeah, so this transformation energy. And as human beings, we have that ability. So last week I talked about moving out of the survival mode, because when you're in survival, you can only really consider yourself, and you go into a narcissistic behavior, and it's that every man for himself. I use the analogy of being on a Titanic, and the ship going down, and so I'm in survival mode. I'm a victim, and that we don't want to live our lives like that. We want to get off the Titanic. We want to start being considerate of other people, and we really want to, raise our consciousness to realize that we're not here just to survive. That's a part of our story, part of our development, but it's not how we're supposed to live our entire lives, especially not toward the end. Toward the end of our life, we need to be thriving, right? And what makes us thrive is having an understanding that we are here for a purpose. So this is where I get to this notion of drifting versus seeking. Okay, drifting through life versus I'm on a life journey seeking something. In indigenous culture thousands of years ago, and even less until colonialism and some other variables intercepted that practice, that during puberty, children would be taken by the elders out into the wild and taken through some very specific processes to help them learn that it wasn't all about them. They were part of a community, and that they were here for a purpose, and they had something to contribute. Yeah. So, we've lost that formal initiation into adulthood. And so most humans are really drifting through life. Drifting is just another experience of survival mode, where you're constantly operating from the mental model of victim. You give your power over to someone or to something external to yourself because you have not been emotionally and spiritually connected to your purpose in life. Most humans live according to economic goals, to survival versus the path of their true mission in life, which in a nutshell, it's to love and be loved in return. Yeah, that's really what it's about. not having the biggest mansion on the block. Yeah. So to grow ourselves out of drifting into seeking, we need to be seeking something, right? Rather than let me make more money than anybody has in their bank account, right? Yeah. And what do we need to seek? We need to be seeking our authentic self. Yes. Yes. This is where believing in a higher purpose and being willing to transcend the five sensory experience to seek a great understanding of life events and who you truly are becomes essential and necessary. So by five sensory, I mean that the five senses, what do I hear, smell, taste, see, and touch? And that's usually how I know and understand what is going on. But throughout history, and even in modern times, we have many examples of people who know how to transcend just what you can see, touch, hear, taste, smell, and feel, and go into a higher level of consciousness. So, for example, and I give this example a lot on this show, people who survived a concentration camp, my ancestors who survived slavery. How do you come out of those situations? Well, you have to believe in something greater than yourself, that there is a greater order and direction to what is happening to you. Yeah. So we know that sixth and seventh and eighth and ninth dimensional realities are real. And we want to be able to tap into that if we're going to live a life that is fulfilling and doesn't have us feeling victimized all the time. You know, there's a wonderful film, and it comes from the book called The Life of Pi. And what's so cool is that in the story, and we get a little bit of background about his childhood, how he is seeking to understand himself. He's seeking to know God. And he was raised, I think, Hindu, but he keeps trying out all these different religions, you know, Catholicism, Christianity, Islam, you know, he's seeking as a child. And then he gets into a situation where he is literally set adrift at sea. Yeah. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it before, but yeah. But anyway, he literally is adrift at sea and happens to be in this lifeboat with a man-eating tiger named Richard Parker. Yeah. So in that story, we get to see somebody who is total victim. Adrift and total victim. But something shifts. He gets back to his curiosity about, why am I here? What is this really about? Why am I alive? Well, I need to live so I can find that out. And so he becomes a seeker. And through that process, he's able to tame, quote unquote, the tiger, Richard Parker, so that he can find his way home. And it really is about going internally. He finds his way home to who he really is. Yeah, that movie's a great example. And so that's what happens to us. We can be adrift and just feeling like a victim to life, going to and doing what somebody else tells us is the right thing to do. You know, if there's a kid that loves to draw or loves music, a lot of times somebody in the family is going to say, yeah, that's well and fine, but you ain't going to be able to make no money out of that. So you need to go and get another career, and that way you'll be okay. You know, and that is unfortunate, because what we should be doing is really encouraging children to follow their heart. As children are closer to remembering their purpose than, you know, adults who have been really conditioned away from it. Scared away from it, right? Because I got to pay rent, I got to buy a car, I got to have my Disney cruise, you know. Yeah, we get scared away from listening to what's really tugging at our heart. And what we want to be able to shift into is to really begin to listen to our heart. So here is my spiritual alchemy process for you to move from just being in drift mode in life into where you become a very conscious seeker, a very conscious seeker. Yeah, it will really change your life. So step one, you have to raise the frequency level of your thoughts. Okay, this is the spiritual alchemy. And so in regards to drifting, that means you have to open to accepting and embracing your higher purpose, right? If you're going to become a seeker, this is what you have to do. Now, every human was given a sacred contract before they were given a mind and a body. Yes. This contract informs what you are obligated to experience to become the best version of yourself, to allow your soul to shine through. The sacred contract is encoded in our hearts. We drift through life when we ignore and deny the callings of our heart. We need to ask the question of why we exist and make our life journey the seekings of that true answer. Yeah. So, knowing our sacred contract, having awareness that we are here for a higher purpose. We're not here to suffer and struggle and just survive. We're here to love and be loved in return, to be making our contributions, giving, sharing our genius, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's science, whether it's dance, whether it's I'm the best toilet cleaner on the planet, whatever that is. Yeah, it's part of our sacred contract. Here's the second step in this spiritual alchemy. You have to enable your physical and emotional body to receive higher guidance. Really important. This is about getting yourself into daily stillness to listen to your heart and soul. You can't learn your sacred contract through a 3D education. You must practice daily learning how to get still and listen to your higher self, to the stirrings in your heart, to the wisdom of your soul, and to the higher guidance of your loving, non-physical teachers like your ancestors. Yeah. No one can tell you your higher purpose. They can help you remember it, but only you can know it as the truth from within. Yeah. So again, making ourselves into antennas for, that higher guidance, that higher wisdom. And the only way to do that, folks, is you got to get still. I don't care if you go to sleep being still, but you got to get still. What does that mean? Yeah. Get off that social media. Get out of watching CNN 24 hours a day. Get off those computer games, Get off chasing after people who really don't have anything good for you. Whatever it is that is keeping you from taking out time for yourself to learn, why am I here and who am I really? And then last but not least, the third step is you have to consciously choose love over fear. Yeah. This is about connecting with your greater order and direction to accept that you're being stretched and grown. That's what we're here to do. Yeah. So set a clear intention to learn your sacred contract. Ask for the right help. For example, from the book and information by Caroline Meese. She wrote the book called Sacred Contracts. A great audio tape. You can get a hold of the CDs or a digital copy of it. It's really, really quite brilliant. It is her seminal work. But there are other ways, too, that you can learn about what is my higher purpose in life. Also, remember to ask and thank your ancestors for assisting you with this essential task and growth process. Yeah. So here's a personal growth opportunity. First of all, get still and contemplate where and how are you currently drifting through life. Now, this drift usually is most apparent when you are, a teenager going into college or, a little after college. You may feel a drifting then, not really clear, where am I going, why am I going, what am I doing, how am I doing? Don't stay in drifting, make that seeking. I am on a journey to learn who I really am and what it is I'm really here to do. The other time it happens is when people retire. Yeah. Retirement, especially if you were doing something just to stay alive, have a roof over your head, take care of your family, feed yourself, whatever. Once you can retire, it should be a time to really start seeking out who are you. You don't want to be drifting from one cocktail party to the next, or one national park or national monument to the next. You want to make that a seeking opportunity. Yeah. And again, even if you're in the middle part of your life, you can still make going into a job that you don't like an opportunity to open up and learn and seek out who you really are. Yeah. So again, where are you drifting in life? Next, apply the 3 steps of the spiritual alchemy I just shared with you to your situation. And yes, I will leave that on my Facebook page group and also in the description box along with this video. And then stay awake and aware to all that shows up to support you with your conscious growth process. And last but not least, do daily gratitude prayers until you feel totally confident about your growth process. And then it starts all over again. It's really wonderful. Okay, my Sara saying is the same one I used last week, and I'll use it all month. And it is so wonderful. It comes from the African father of early Catholicism called the Doctor of the Church, and I'm talking, of course, about St. Augustine. And he says, faith is to believe what you do not see. The reward of faith is to see what you believe. Yeah, it's way cool. And last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. So now, please have a healthy and safe Nature Week, welcoming change and new personal growth. Now continue to wear your mask if you're able to, and or strengthen your immune system. Practice safe relating, wash those hands frequently, and avoid perceived safety. Practice the science safety. And do remember, most importantly, you are not disposable. In fact, you are divine. Good night now.